Adventure has always had two sides: the dream of freedom and the challenge of getting there. For decades, enthusiasts have searched for a machine that could conquer trails without compromising comfort on the road. A vehicle that didn't just look tough, but actually lived it every day. One that could carry its driver from the city to the wild without feeling out of place in either world. The late 1990s became a turning point for that dream. Technology met tradition, ruggedness met refinement. And suddenly, off-road capability was no longer reserved for specialists or weekend warriors. It became something you could live with, something that made the idea of exploration mainstream. This story is about how one machine redefined what it meant to go anywhere, and how it bridged the gap between pure utility and everyday adventure. Stick around, hit like if you love classic off-roaders, subscribe for more deep dives into iconic machines, and comment below what legendary vehicle you want to see next. The Jeep Wrangler TJ1997 arrived at a time when the off-road world was standing at a crossroads. The earlier YJ generation had modernized the brand, but also alienated some of its loyal base. Square headlights had become the symbol of controversy, a reminder that progress can sometimes look like betrayal. So when Jeep unveiled the TJ, it was more than a new model. It was a redemption story. The company needed to prove that innovation could coexist with heritage, and that the Wrangler's soul, its rugged, open-air character, was still alive. The TJ looked familiar, but felt entirely new. Round headlights returned, and so did the unmistakable face that fans had demanded. Yet beneath the classic body lines was a completely re-engineered chassis. Jeep engineers had borrowed the coil spring suspension setup from the Grand Cherokee, a move that promised better on-road comfort without compromising trail capability. It was a risk that would define the TJ's legacy. Drivers soon discovered that this Wrangler could tackle bumpy trails with grace, and then cruise home on the highway without rattling teeth. The difference was night and day. The ride was smoother, steering more precise, and handling tighter. Still, many questioned whether this softer setup could truly handle the punishment of real-world off-roading. To answer that, Jeep took the TJ to the toughest trails in North America. From Moab to the Rubicon, the new Wrangler faced deep ruts, sharp rocks, and steep inclines. The coil springs flexed and adapted where older Leaf setups might have jolted or twisted. It proved its worth, not through marketing, but through mud, dust, and terrain that tested every inch of its design. But the magic of the Jeep Wrangler TJ1997 was not just in its mechanical transformation. It was in how it made off-road capability more approachable. You didn't have to be a seasoned four-wheeler to appreciate what it offered. The automatic transmission option, the more refined cabin, and features like air conditioning and improved seats opened the door to everyday drivers. It was a Wrangler that could take a beating and still take you to dinner. Jeep had managed to modernize without diluting what made it special. The dashboard design drew cues from the old CJ, the fold-down windshield remained, and the removable doors ensured the spirit of open-air driving stayed intact. Yet it also introduced things like dual airbags and a stronger safety cage, proof that Jeep understood the times were changing. The 1997 TJ marked a delicate balance between nostalgia and necessity, where design choices respected the past but faced the future head-on. For those who grew up watching their parents' Jeeps tackle the outdoors, the TJ represented a passing of the torch. It was accessible, customizable, and ready for anything. And soon, that accessibility would make it a phenomenon far beyond the trails. What started as an engineering challenge became a cultural statement, one that turned the Wrangler into more than just a vehicle. It became a lifestyle symbol. The late 90s saw an explosion in outdoor culture, with magazines, gear companies, and weekend adventure trips all feeding the same desire to get outside. The Wrangler TJ1997 fit that moment perfectly. Its compact size, friendly proportions, and classic look made it a favorite not just among hardcore off-roaders but among those who simply wanted to feel adventurous. It looked rugged parked in front of a cafe. It looked right at home in the mountains. That duality was rare, and it was powerful. The Wrangler became a bridge between generations. Older drivers respected its authenticity, while younger ones admired its simplicity and style. Jeep's gamble had paid off. By maintaining authenticity while upgrading comfort, they had built a machine that appealed to both heart and mind. Even its drivetrain options told a story. The inline-six engine was a legend in its own right, providing durability and torque that few rivals could match. Meanwhile, the four-cylinder version offered efficiency for those who valued practicality. Everything about the TJ's configuration reflected choice and individuality. It wasn't just transportation. It was self-expression. And that's what made it more than a success. It made it a movement. As the years rolled on, the TJ would become the foundation for a generation of enthusiasts who built, modified, and lived with their Jeeps in ways no one predicted. But before that could happen, the world had to understand just how far Jeep had come in blending comfort with capability. By the early 2000s, the Jeep Wrangler TJ 1997 had already proven that engineering refinement could live alongside old-school toughness. But what truly cemented its place in history was how it handled real-world use. Owners didn't treat it like a fragile toy. They treated it like a companion built for adventure. The coil spring suspension showed its brilliance every time the Wrangler climbed over obstacles that would have stopped other vehicles in their tracks. The setup allowed the wheels to stay planted and the body to remain stable, creating traction and control that inspired confidence. Drivers could feel the terrain through the steering, but without the punishing harshness of older leaf-sprung systems. It was a blend of feedback and comfort that few off-roaders achieved at the time. The body-on-frame construction ensured durability, while the short wheelbase gave it the agility of a mountain goat. Together, these elements created something remarkable. A machine that felt both tough and forgiving. This balance made the Jeep Wrangler TJ 1997 more than an off-road tool. It became a daily companion that felt alive in every environment. The drivetrain options further expanded its appeal. The 4.0-liter inline-six was known for its smooth torque delivery and long-term reliability, a power plant that seemed to thrive on neglect. Meanwhile, the 2.5-liter four-cylinder offered a lighter, more efficient option for urban drivers or casual weekend adventurers. Both could be paired with manual or automatic transmissions, giving buyers freedom to tailor the experience. Yet the real genius of the TJ lay in its modular design. Removable doors, fold-down windshield, and a convertible top turned the vehicle from enclosed SUV to open-air explorer in minutes. It wasn't a marketing gimmick. It was a tradition carried forward with pride. Few vehicles in history have allowed such direct interaction between driver and environment. In the TJ, the wind wasn't something to block out. It was part of the journey. Every trip became sensory. Sun, dust, rain, and the mechanical rhythm of a drivetrain that seemed eager for more. Customization soon became the Wrangler TJ's defining trait. Owners could swap bumpers, add winches, mount larger tires, or install lift kits to push capability even further. The aftermarket exploded with options. The TJ became a platform for creativity, where individuality mattered as much as performance. It was common to see one-of-a-kind builds that expressed personal style as clearly as a fingerprint. For Jeep, this meant something profound. The brand wasn't just selling vehicles anymore. It was selling freedom, the ability to shape your machine into whatever your life demanded. That cultural shift gave the Wrangler TJ an identity no marketing department could fabricate. It was raw, personal, and authentic. Even in stock form, the TJ embodied resilience. It could tackle snow, mud, sand, or city streets with equal ease. Owners often spoke about how it made every trip feel like a small expedition, even if it was just a drive to work. That emotional connection mattered. While other SUVs were becoming more about luxury or image, the TJ stayed loyal to function. It wasn't trying to be sleek or refined. It was proud to be mechanical, visible, and simple. Every bolt and hinge told a story. Its upright windshield and exposed door hinges weren't relics. They were badges of honesty in a market drifting toward plastic perfection. Inside, the cabin remained minimalistic but improved. The seats were more supportive, the dashboard sturdier, and materials more durable. Jeep knew this vehicle would be used hard, so it built everything to last. Owners could hose out mud and sand after a weekend on the trails without fear of damaging anything critical. That practicality gave it staying power. Beyond engineering, the Wrangler TJ 1997 became a symbol in popular culture. It appeared in movies, television, and countless outdoor campaigns. It wasn't just a vehicle. It represented a mindset. The idea that adventure wasn't something to plan months in advance. It was something you could live every day. Park it downtown, and it looked confident. Park it on a mountainside, and it looked unstoppable. That dual personality turned the Wrangler into an icon that transcended its category. It wasn't bound by class or income. It attracted students, professionals, families, and veterans alike. Everyone saw something of themselves in it. The simplicity of its design, the transparency of its purpose, and the honesty of its performance made it timeless. Even as technology advanced and SUVs became increasingly digital, the TJ remained refreshingly analog. You could feel the steering weight, hear the gears engage, and sense the tires gripping. In a world drifting toward isolation from the driving experience, the Wrangler kept drivers connected. And that connection built loyalty. Many who bought a TJ in the late 90s still own it today, still taking it out for weekend drives, still keeping it alive with aftermarket parts. It became a generational bond between people and machine. The Jeep Wrangler TJ 1997 didn't just mark a chapter in automotive evolution. It reignited a spirit that others had forgotten. A spirit that valued experience over comfort, challenge over ease, and authenticity over image. The legacy of the Jeep Wrangler TJ 1997 goes far beyond its production years. By the mid-2000s, it had become a benchmark for what an off-road vehicle could and should be. Every competitor chasing the adventure lifestyle formula owed something to the foundation the TJ built. But while many copied its look or borrowed its marketing language, few captured its essence. The Wrangler's soul came from simplicity, adaptability, and the direct connection between driver, machine, and nature. It wasn't built to isolate people from the world, it was built to immerse them in it. That made the TJ more than a vehicle. It became a cultural bridge between old-school off-roading and the modern SUV era. Its design language, with those rounded headlights and minimalistic lines, struck a chord that echoed across generations. Jeep didn't need to reinvent its identity every few years. It only needed to refine it. And in doing so, it built a timeless form that still influences design today. When the Jeep Wrangler TJ 1997 appeared on the market, few predicted its long-term cultural impact. The vehicle found itself at the center of a growing movement. The late 1990s and early 2000s saw an explosion of interest in outdoor recreation. Mountain biking, camping, hiking, and overlanding. The TJ became a mobile extension of that lifestyle. It was a canvas for personalization, but it was also a passport to freedom. Whether you lived in the suburbs or the mountains, it made adventure feel closer than ever. The more you used it, the more it became a reflection of your own story. Scratches weren't flaws. They were memories. Every trail run, beach trip, or cross-country journey added character. That authenticity was impossible to fake. And while other manufacturers leaned on luxury or digital interfaces to create appeal, the TJ doubled down on honesty. You could see its hinges, trace its welds, and feel the texture of its mechanical reality. It invited drivers to get their hands dirty and learn something about their machines. That approach built not just customers but communities. Jeep clubs flourished during the TJ era. Weekend meetups turned into lifelong friendships. Trail rides became social rituals. The sense of belonging that came with owning a Wrangler transcended simple brand loyalty. It was identity. Jeep understood this connection and nurtured it. The company offered endless factory and dealer-supported accessories, from roof racks to suspension kits, but it also celebrated owner creativity. Unlike most automakers, Jeep didn't see modifications as threats to its image. It saw them as proof that the product worked. That attitude solidified the Wrangler's reputation as the most modifiable, personalizable vehicle of its time. Decades later, the aftermarket support for the TJ remains immense, a testament to how deeply it embedded itself in enthusiast culture. On the trails, the TJ's performance spoke for itself. Its short overhangs and high ground clearance gave it an unmatched approach and departure angle. Its lightweight design and simple mechanics meant it could often go where heavier, more complex machines faltered. And when it did need repairs, parts were accessible and affordable. Owners learned to fix their own Jeeps, to tune and adapt them, building skills along the way. This self-reliance became part of the Jeep philosophy. The Wrangler TJ 1997 represented a turning point for that philosophy because it married it with modern usability. You could drive it to work all week and hit the trails on the weekend without needing a second vehicle. That dual-purpose capability redefined the idea of practicality. It wasn't about cup holders or infotainment screens. It was about versatility and trust. The trust that when conditions got rough, your vehicle wouldn't hesitate. Even in extreme climates or remote areas, the TJ proved dependable. This reliability gave it legendary status among overlanders, explorers, and anyone who valued self-sufficiency. The TJ also quietly influenced an entire generation of vehicles that followed. It showed automakers that authenticity could sell, that a product grounded in purpose could outperform those built purely for comfort. It reminded the industry that design should be led by experience, not fashion. Its presence in popular culture reinforced that message. It wasn't unusual to see a TJ in travel documentaries, music videos, or movies where freedom and resilience were central themes. Each appearance reinforced what owners already knew. The Wrangler TJ wasn't just transportation, it was transformation. Even today, enthusiasts still regard it as one of the purest expressions of the Wrangler lineage. Later models would become larger, heavier, and more advanced, but none captured the same elemental balance of mechanical simplicity and daily livability. The 1997 TJ sits at the perfect intersection of eras. Classic enough to feel authentic, modern enough to live with. Its legacy isn't measured only in sales or awards. It's measured in miles of trail, in faded paint from years under the sun, in the shared nod between drivers who recognize the same machine coming the other way. The Jeep Wrangler TJ 1997 didn't just change what people drove. It changed how they lived. The story of the Jeep Wrangler TJ 1997 is, at its core, a story about balance. It found harmony between heritage and innovation, between function and comfort, and between individuality and universality. For Jeep, the TJ was more than another product cycle. It was a reaffirmation of purpose. At a time when the automotive world was becoming increasingly sanitized, the TJ reminded people that adventure could still be raw, tactile, and real. It stood as proof that authenticity never goes out of style. The decision to return to round headlights was symbolic, but the engineering beneath that familiar face was revolutionary. Coil spring suspension transformed the driving experience, bridging the gap between the rugged CJs of the past and the refined Wranglers of the future. Inside, Jeep managed to retain the utilitarian simplicity that enthusiasts loved while adding just enough modern safety and comfort to make it viable for daily life. That delicate evolution preserved what made the Wrangler special and positioned it to thrive in a new century. What makes the Jeep Wrangler TJ 1997 so enduring is not just what it did, but what it represented. It democratized adventure. It made exploration something anyone could access, not just seasoned off-roaders or mechanics. It brought trail credibility to everyday life without losing its edge. For many, owning a TJ was more than driving a vehicle. It was joining a movement. It meant belonging to a lineage that valued resilience, curiosity, and freedom. The TJ reminded its owners that the world was bigger than the commute, that detours could be destinations. It encouraged spontaneity in an increasingly scheduled world. Even today, that spirit remains alive. Thousands of TJs still roam highways and backroads, carrying the same energy they did when new. Their owners maintain them, upgrade them, and hand them down like heirlooms. Few vehicles inspire that kind of devotion decades later. The Wrangler TJ achieved it by staying honest, by refusing to pretend to be anything other than what it was, a purpose-built tool for people who see driving as part of living. Its influence can still be felt in every Wrangler that followed. Each generation owes its existence to the groundwork laid in 1997, when Jeep proved that progress doesn't mean abandoning tradition. The balance of mechanical purity, approachable design, and real capability became the template for modern off-road vehicles. Competitors have come and gone, but the TJ's legacy endures because it spoke to something timeless in human nature: the desire to explore, to connect, to feel unrestrained. In the end, the Jeep Wrangler TJ 1997 stands as a symbol of freedom done right. It redefined what it meant to be capable, showed that evolution can respect the past, and reminded drivers everywhere that adventure doesn't start at the trailhead, it starts with the turn of a key. For enthusiasts, it remains more than a memory. It's a continuing story written in mud, dust, and the endless horizon ahead.